It's hard to believe that we are just a week away from returning to school. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. We don't exactly know how we're going to do it. It's new for all of us. But we do know that the Lord is asking us to get out of the boat, to take a step in faith, to keep our eyes fixed on Him as we do it. If there's one lesson that our world has learned, and I pray that the world has learned this message, especially those who are non-believers, I pray that we at least acknowledge that we're not in control. We're not in control of our own lives. We're not in control of the world around us. And that's why it's so good to be a Christian, because we know the one who is. And He doesn't promise that it's going to be easy. He never has. He just promises that if we follow Him in faith, that His perfect providence will take care of us. He will lead us, guide us, protect us. And one person in our church who exemplifies that for us today is a woman who the church celebrates. Her name is Clare of Assisi. Clare came from a noble Roman family of great wealth. And she was a devout young girl. At the age of 18, she went to a Lenten night of recollection at her parish, San Gregorio. And she went there, and there was a man preaching whom she didn't know. His name was Francis of Assisi. And when she saw him preaching, when she heard the way that he lived his life and what he was preaching, this radical dependence upon Jesus and God's providence, she knew that that's what she wanted for her life. She didn't know how to do it. She didn't know where her life was going, but she knew that she wanted more. She knew that this man who had stepped out, she saw a man who was walking on the water in faith in Jesus, doing something that she previously and everybody around her thought was impossible. And now she wanted out of the boat. She stayed after that night and talked to him. She said that she wanted to live like he lives, and he invited her to follow him. She goes back to Assisi, and she would ultimately found what is known now as the Women's Franciscan side, following the rule of St. Francis. Today they still exist. Their names are the Poor Clares. But when she got out of the boat, other women wanted to follow her. And so her sister came. She would be known as Sister Agnes, today in our church known as Saint Agnes. Other women would see these women out of the boat and wanting to walk with them, wanting more of their life. Again, not knowing how to do it, but knowing that they wanted to live in radical dependence upon God's providence. And so they did. I love this famous story of St. Clare. And if you ever see her, you might see her walking with a monstrance with Jesus present in the Eucharist. And the reason is because of this story. It was that Frederick II and all of his soldiers were invading all the different areas of Italy. And they came into Assisi, wanting to attack Assisi. And the people of Assisi were terrified. Clare started to pray before Jesus in the Eucharist, knowing that she couldn't defend herself and couldn't defend her sisters. And all of her sisters, they were all looking to her. What do we do now? And they were climbing the sides of the convent, and they were fearful of many things, I'm sure. And she did the one thing that she knew how to do. She again got out of the boat. She kept her faith in Jesus. She knew that Jesus had always provided for her and would continue to do so. And so she got Jesus out of the tabernacle. She put him in the monstrance, and she took that monstrance to the top of her convent. And she set it there, and she fell prostrate before him, begging the Lord for protection. She says, Lord, the only thing that is sustaining this city of Assisi is your divine love. To which he responded to her, and she heard in her heart, she heard Jesus say to her, you will always have trouble, but I will protect you. And he did. Miraculously, these soldiers backed away from the convent, wanted nothing to do with it. Assisi was protected, and the story goes on. But it's amazing that she knew how to get out of the boat. She knew to put her radical dependence upon the Lord, to keep her eyes fixed on him in all the trials of her life. This is the lesson for us this week, that as we get out of the boat, we don't have to know how everything's going to turn out. We don't have to know exactly what to do for the rest of the year. We just have to know that the Lord is asking us to take one step, to get out of the boat, to look to those who are getting out of the boat, keeping their faith, their eyes upon Jesus, and knowing that whatever happens, we will have troubles, but that his divine providence will take care of us, he will protect us, and he will continue to guide us.